Alright, what's up guys, it's KOSDFF here. Now I figured I've told you guys a story about how I got my ass kicked, so it's only suiting that I eventually tell you a story of a fight I actually won. Now I've won a few fights, honestly, to be like completely real with you guys, it's been about 50-50, like all the fights I've ever been in. Even though most of the fights aren't what you would like typically characterize as a fight. Like, to me a fight's like one-on-one, crowd surrounding you, everything's fair, and you fucking throw fists, but no. Now, as you heard in my other video, it's not exactly a great scenario for your boy. I got my shit boxed up the last time that happened, but almost like the other 99% of the fights I've ever been in have been kind of like heat of the moment, fucking something snapped, you know, someone went off and just kind of happened. And that's exactly what's gonna happen in today's story. Now, I actually teamed up with my boy Chris for this video. If you guys didn't catch my other commentary, he's the kid that actually sued me, but before all that happened, we were actually like really good friends. You know when people pose you that scenario, if you could go back in time and change one thing, what would it be? I would personally say nothing. But if I really had the choice and can change just like one small minute thing, I'd go back with like $1,000 extra and go pay this kid to fix his window so we could still be friends. Although that did show me a whole lot about his character when that actually happened. I really just feel like he was in a situation of desperation, and that's the only thing he could think of to do. And when you're a dumb 21-year-old, you're not exactly making the best decisions in your life. I'm guilty too of some fucking whoppers. But now in this story, me and my boy Chris were hanging over at my friend Dave's house, and at this point he hadn't got kicked out of that apartment complex yet, so we were still over there at Mallard Green. We were just kind of chilling. I don't even know what night it was. It could have been like a Friday or Thursday night. Drinking was about to take place. The beer run had been made, the cups were set up, everyone was ready to get fucking shitty. But me slowly easing into adulthood, I know that if I'm about to get straight up shitty, I should probably go eat something. So me and my boy went to go to this place called COOKOUT. Now, if you've never heard of COOKOUT, if you're not from the South, I'm fucking sorry. COOKOUT is one of the most amazing fast food establishments ever created. It's basically just a barbecue place. Most of the time, you can't even sit inside. I've only seen like one COOKOUT ever that had an indoors, and it was in this ritzy neighborhood. But most of the time, it's just like this freestanding building with a whole bunch of picnic tables around it, and you can go get the cheapest fucking greasy, fried, barbecued, grilled fucking shit ever, and their combos are the most ridiculous things ever, and they are particularly appealable to college students. For this reason and this reason only, this is the only place I know on this planet that you can go get a hamburger, a corn dog, and fries, and a shake for like $5. And because it's only $5, you can get a whole bunch of extras like some chicken nuggets, maybe some taquitos. I mean, there's literally anything you can think of this place serves, and it's fucking fabulous and cheap as shit. Now, this place was right across the street from my college, so it was just always packed. It was just a fan favorite of everybody that went to school there. Best drunk food ever, because it's also 24 hours. Now, if you're ever driving through like the southeast United States and you start to see this like small little brick building with this billow of smoke coming out of the top of it, that's COOKOUT. And that billow of smoke covers the surrounding square mile with the most delicious scents of burnt burgers and fried shit. It basically calls to you. But me, him, and his girlfriend decided to all hop up into my Explorer and drive there. And it was hella close because we live so close to campus, so we're looking like 2 or 3 minutes. So we were there like instantly. And food did happen. I ordered like a complete smorgasbord of shit, and so did he. I don't remember what his girlfriend got, but it's safe to say me and Chris chowed the fuck down. And this is one of the few times that I'd actually opt for the slushie instead of the shake. I'm usually always going for the shake. I don't even remember what flavor it was, but this is a contributing factor to the story. This slushie is important. If you're wondering why I'm sitting there telling you my fucking fast food order, there's a purpose to all this. As soon as we got done eating, we took all our trash over the trash cans, and I decided to hit my slushie on the top of the trash can to loosen the ice. Because if you've ever had a slushie, they don't have like massive ice cubes in it. It just has a whole bunch of tiny pieces of ice. Put in the comments below whether you're a crushed ice or a cubed ice person, because I loved cube ice. I don't kind of believe anybody would actually go drink like a glass of water with crushed ice all the time. I would feel like it would just be constantly going into your mouth by accident, and you would just get it all over the place. And cubed ice is really the only way to drink. But believe it or not, there's an astounding amount of people out there that actually prefer crushed ice. So much so that almost every refrigerator that you can buy nowadays has a crushed ice option. Which to me means there's a whole bunch of fucking aliens drinking water out there, but I digress. Now, it had rained the night before, so the benches weren't exactly dry, but they weren't exactly wet either. The concrete was wet, and a little pool of water had kind of formed on top of this trash can. So when I hit my drink on top of it, it actually splashed this little kid next to me. And I say little kid because of how old I am now. He was my same age, except for he was dressed like a total gangster. Scrawny white kid from the suburbs, just had that pussy look to him. But as I was banging my cup on the trash can, he was like, yo, dude, chill, you need to stop that shit. Now, of course, some kid talks to me like that. I look over to him, I'm like, what the fuck? I'll do this all I want, motherfucker. And then I realized that as I was banging my cup on the trash can, that I was kind of splashing him just a little bit. It wasn't like I was sending waves at this motherfucker, just a little bit of splash. And I actually felt really bad. And I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't even see that. Sorry I popped off on you. Like, I was really apologetic because I really didn't mean to splash a guy. And I kind of like gave him this look and kind of spoke to him in a tone that was like super asshole. But I really thought this little kid was trying to buck up on me and talk some shit. But yeah, I apologized to the guy, and then we went back to my car. Now, the way this like cookout parking lot was kind of set up, that I had to actually drive right back by the cookout to leave. And as we were driving past the cookout, this little hoodlum and all of his boys were leaving the cookout as well. So him and his friends kind of had to wait at the curb while we drove by. Now, of course, I've got tinted out windows, so they can't see in the car. That's not something I just did to my Tahoe recently. I've had tinted windows my whole life. I've paid off like hundreds of tint tickets. Literally been pulled over more times than anyone you can imagine. But I didn't care because tinted windows look fucking cool. But of course this kid was mean mugging us, so of course I drove by extremely slow, and just as we passed him, I noticed in my side view mirror that this dude threw his bag of food at my car. Now this is when your boy saw fucking red. A circuit flipped in my fucking head and I slammed on my brakes, like jammed it into park, swung open my door and just ran straight at this dude. And I hit this dude square in the fucking forehead with this fucking massive Superman punch. Now you've heard me talk about fights in a couple other videos, and I've always said the best way to win a fight is to get the first punch. Now I completely believe in this philosophy, especially if you're like 160 pounds like me and aren't like super brawly. Getting that first punch almost always decides the fight. And the reason that's true is not everyone's UFC fighters, and most of the people have never been in a fight, or if they've been in a fight, it's only been like a couple. So the actual shock of getting punched can really kind of throw you off kilter. Even though you're not made out of glass, everybody can take a beating, trust me. If you want to win fights, you gotta lose a couple to realize that you can take a beating and keep on going. Your body pumps adrenaline into your system and you go into like mini shock when you're fighting, and it's in this fight or flight response fucking epicness, and you really can't even feel a whole lot, but you're also very aware of how much damage you're taking. Not that I'm encouraging you guys to go get in fights, but a lot of you guys probably play sports and know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, I Superman lunge punched this kid and he fell back like a sack of potatoes. He hit the fucking deck. Now, although landing the first punch can almost guarantee you winning the fight's not over. You still have to do some damage because these fuckers can get back up. Especially if it didn't hit him that good. This time that wasn't true. I fucking knocked the shit out of this dude. But he wasn't knocked out. He fell to the ground and instantly threw his hands up. And of course, me being kind of a scrappy guy, I ran and like slid to get on top of him. And as soon as I had my knees over his shoulders, man, I was just throwing fucking bows. I couldn't even tell you how many punches I landed on this kid, but I was fucking just beating the absolute tar out of him. Because this kid was bigger than me. He was a scrawny little white boy, but he was like 6'2" and probably had about 10 pounds on me. He was skinny, but he was tall. Now, I don't remember a whole lot within this 10 seconds of fight, but all I do remember is hearing my friend Chris kind of hold the crowd back screaming, "He deserves it! He deserves it!" Which is still fucking hilarious to me to this day. He must have gotten out of the car, walked over, saw that I had punched this kid, and instantly like walked up behind me to keep his friends from jumping me, and his only justification was he deserves it. He's telling this kid's friends that this kid deserves to get this ass beating. And to be honest, he did throw something at my car. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do to motherfuckers and it'd be okay, like the rules of war. You never fuck with a dude's girl, and you never fuck with a dude's car. And rule 3, you don't ever fuck with a dude's car. Like, that's just some pussy ass chick shit to do if you're mad at someone. If you're a dude and you've ever keyed another dude's car for any fucking reason, take the tampon out. You're kind of a bitch. But yeah, I'm landing fucking bows on this kid, but you know, I'm not a fucking evil person. So after I noticed that he was just fucking done, like he was still holding his hands up trying to just block my punches. So I got off the motherfucker and I didn't stick around and talk a whole bunch of shit and point at him and like make fun of him or talk shit to his boys. I was getting the fuck out of there. I was worried that the police were gonna get called because there was literally a crowd at this point. Everybody that was sitting outdoors eating at this cookout had like made their way over to see this fucking fight. And it's not like they had to run very far. We're right at the curb in front of the restaurant. Now this dude didn't land a single blow on me, but the one thing he did do is he did break the gold chain I was wearing. Like 3 years ago, I went to Hawaii with my parents, and if you don't know, if you go to like Hawaii or any of the islands in like the Caribbean, they sell cheap gold there. So my dad had bought me this like really thin gold chain that had this kind of like Asian character pendant on it. And during the course of this, he must have reached up and grabbed because he broke the chain, but it was still like hanging on my neck. So as I stood up, I was able to grab the neck, but the pendant fell off and I actually never found it again. It was lost for forever. We even went back like an hour or two later to look for it. Obviously, we had to wait an hour or two because I was afraid to go back there because of the cops. Because we're near a college campus, and if you've ever been near a college campus, you know those things are fucking swarming with cops. They're literally everywhere. As soon as I grabbed the chain off my neck and threw it in my pocket, we hopped back in my Explorer and peeled the fuck out. Now I say peel the fuck out to add like dramatic effect to the story. Really, I got back in my car. I waited for my friend Chris to get back in my car because he actually kind of stayed behind a little bit to talk to all the friends and say, hey, he deserved it. It was a fair fight. He threw something at his car. Everyone should just chill. And then like eventually got back into my car. And then we drove off peaceably. Now I'd like to say I got out of this thing completely unscathed, but your boy's kind of a dumbass. So when I went to go get on top of the dude so I can land some fucking bows, I slid across the concrete and this completely destroyed my knees. Now, of course, I'm in the shock of fighting, so I completely didn't notice. but I was wearing shorts. As soon as I got out of the car, I instantly felt this shooting pain in my knees because my shorts had actually stuck to the wounds. If you ever played sports, you know you can kind of put like a bandage on top of a scrape or like a huge like burn from sliding in baseball or something like that, that the blood kind of dries and sticks to it. Well, that effect had happened between my shorts and my knees that were now completely fucked. So when I got up, I was like, oh fuck, and I looked down, I'm like, damn, like I really fucked these things up. Now I didn't have to go get stitches or anything like that. None of the cuts were even like a centimeter. I just completely fucking skidded the shit out of my knees. I had the most nasty scabs on my knees for like 3 months after that. So now that I think about it, I almost would rather have the 2 black eyes than I had the 2 fucking knees that were just scabbed as shit so that it would look like a fucking reptile every time I wore shorts. But then came like the best part of the story for me. Of course, we were going back to my friend Dave's house where everybody was, so we got to go in there and tell the tale of how I beat the shit out of this little fucking wannabe gangster who thought he'd be cute by throwing some fast food at my car and didn't realize I was about to jump out of that motherfucker, beat the tar out of that little bitch. And I didn't even have to tell a story. The greatest thing was Chris was there, so he told the whole story to everyone, because believe it or not, right after you fight, you really can't remember a whole lot about the fight. You've got too much adrenaline pumping, you're still kind of in shock. So I couldn't even really tell you the story. I just told him what happened until the fight. Actually, when the fight started, I couldn't really remember a whole lot like in the moment. So Chris told everybody, and I'm sitting there like listening like, damn, your boy went fucking in. Never have I been in a fight that was so one-sided. This is fucking awesome. Because although I say I've won about 50% of the fights I've been in, really most of the fights I say I won, there was no like clear winner. I just didn't lose. Because most of the time, you beat the shit out of each other, especially if you're fighting someone that actually knows how to fight. Well, he knows he can take a beating too, and well, then it's just a measure of one's resolve, and well, fucking, I'm a stubborn motherfucker, so you come at me, shit, you better fucking beat the shit out of me, or I'm gonna keep going. Now, I'm not an asshole, so once you're beat, you're beat. I'm not gonna kick you while you're down, but safe to say, I'm gonna do pretty much anything to win the fight, and if you're bigger than me, that just gives me license to pick up something and hit you with it. By the way, that is a rule of fighting. If you fight someone smaller than you, that's okay for the smaller guy to pick up a chair or something and throw it at you. Dem just rules. And that pretty much sums up my, like, David versus skinny Goliath story. Now, I'm not short as fuck, I'm like 5'11", but this dude did tower over me. He was like 6'3". When I Superman punched him, I said it like that because I literally lunged. I had to fucking jump and swing at this dude. And the reason why this story even rings out my memory is that connection when I actually fucking hit him right there is probably the cleanest punch I've ever landed. You know, I've never went boxing, I never did mixed martial arts. I did karate as a kid, but that was mostly about kicks and chops. This was probably the only time I really landed a smooth fucking punch at like the perfect time. So now we're back to even. Now you've heard a story about me getting my shit boxed and then another story about me fucking protecting my car. Now I don't want any of you guys to kind of use these videos as an excuse to go start fights. They're not fucking cool. Like going and being a little shit and fighting people is kind of a dickhead thing to do. But if someone tests you or puts you to the limit, well, they've just given you permission to be a fucking asshole and well, beat his fucking ass. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys tomorrow.